Welcome, everybody, to the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show. We're at Week 8. The College Football Weekly Pick'em Show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. You know, ever since we started this podcast, people have been asking me for advice. Who you got, Maryland or Wisconsin? Louisville or Florida State? Well, let me tell you this. Where you're betting at is just as important as who you're betting on. So that's why I always tell people to go to MyBookie.ag. MyBookie has been in business for years, and the rep is rock solid. They do 100% cash bonuses. All you got to do is put in CFB picks. That way they know you came from the grueling truth. Seriously, their payouts are in 2 business days, so you know who's going to win, right? Lay down some cash and win big today with MyBookie.ag. All right, guys, I'm your host for the College Football Pick'em Show, Mike Goodpaster, and right now I want to welcome in the guy who won last week with a record of 9-5. Former Alabama offensive lineman, Bill Searcy.
Hey, guys. How's everybody tonight?
All right. I was second last week, so the big loser, he gets the Oz Award, Brian Schmidt, who was 7-7. How you doing, Schmitty?
Oh, bad week. It'll get better.
You know, I've figured out, Bill, why Schmitty wants Oz on this show all the time, because in that way we know who the big loser is, and it never has to be him.
No, usually I do pretty good, but this week not so much.
Well, the week you weren't here, we'll just call you 7-7, because that's pretty much what we've all been for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So that means Brian is up by 1 game over Bill and 2 games over me. So now I'm in last place. That's awesome. All right. We'll go ahead. What was your big takeaway from this week, Bill? Since you were the big winner, we'll go to you first.
I think it's what I told you a minute ago, and that's LSU and Auburn both are great teams for at least one half of a game. Just depends on which half that is. It makes it a great game
when they each play different halves. It
does. And then also, Butch Jones at Tennessee should, if not already, should start packing. So that's the word from the SEC. But I think we've got Georgia and TCU solid in the top 4 right now. And I saw some people have Clemson still in the top 4 today, but that's another story.
Well, those people are stupid. Schmitty, what was your big takeaway from this week?
Big weekend of upsets. Clemson losing to Syracuse. Washington State got absolutely dismantled by California. What makes college football so much better than the NFL is every weekend you just never know what's going to happen. And but now what a lot of these losses do is it's going to start putting some of these one-loss teams back in the mix. So that's going to make it more exciting down the stretch too, because now some of these one-loss teams are now going to have an opportunity to make playoffs.
Yeah, and right now I think, to me, the 4 teams that would be in right now are no-brainers, which is Alabama, TCU, Penn State, and the 4th team that I can't think of because I got hit in the head too much.
Georgia,
yeah. I mean, right now, those are the 4 best teams. Even if Bama and Georgia play, with all the losses going on, it's bringing teams like Ohio State back into play. I would like to bring up the Miami Hurricanes are undefeated, but I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, and I wrote the top 25 today. I put them at number 6 because they're undefeated, and it's hard not to put them ahead of teams that have lost. But when you look at who they've beaten, I mean, they just went life or death with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's a good team, but I just don't see Miami having the offense to be able to deal with some of the better teams in the ACC when it comes down to it. I mean, is there anybody here really that thinks – I mean, I watched North Carolina State. I think North Carolina State's a bigger threat to win the ACC than Miami of Florida is.
Yeah, I think Miami is one of those fool's gold things. I think it's great they're undefeated, but I'm not impressed to think they're a top 4 team.
No, I don't think they're a top 10 team from what I've seen. I mean, I don't even think they're the best team in Florida. I think the 2 best teams in Florida are Central Florida and South Florida, which nobody ever pays attention to.
I thought you were getting ready to say Florida State. I didn't know where you were headed with that one.
No, I think Central Florida and South Florida are 2 teams with the talent to be top 10 teams. I mean, nobody will ever let them just because of the conference they play in. But
Right.
And at some point they're going to play, and one of them's going to knock the other one off. But it would not surprise me if one of those two is playing a New Year's Six game. Let's go ahead, and we'll start with picking this week's games. We've got the top-heavy Big Ten. We've got the Wisconsin Badgers favored by 23.5, Brian, over Maryland.
Yeah, take Wisconsin. Wisconsin will roll on that one. Maryland is not a great team.
All right, Bill.
What did you say the line was? I'm sorry.
23.5.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be boring too. I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
All right. Well, I'm going to be not boring, and I'm going to go with Maryland. I still don't buy the Wisconsin offense. 23.5 points is a lot to give them there. They may go ahead and run Maryland out of the building, but I'm going to go with Maryland. I think it's too many points. The next game, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who put a butt whooping on Baylor, at Texas, who got a moral victory, Schmidt, and
yes, they did.
Our friend Matt from the NFL show is all big on moral victories, which we'll be able to talk about Tuesday night on the NFL Pick'em show, so make sure you check that out. Oklahoma State -6 at Texas. Bill?
I'm going to take Oklahoma State in that one.
All right. I'm going to be boring and agree with Bill on this one. I mean, I think Texas, shot a lot yesterday. I think it's going to be hard for them to come back here. Plus, I really like Mason Rudolph. I think Oklahoma State's a really good team. They played a bad game, got a loss, but I think they're still in the mix here. Brian?
Yeah, I like Oklahoma State. Texas is playing better, but Oklahoma State just has so much firepower, and I think after what Texas went through this past week, the emotion they put into that game, it's going to be very hard to play up for a really good Oklahoma State team.
Yeah, and to me, Texas is a team that they could put 30 points in this game, but Oklahoma State could score 60.
Yeah.
So in the end, I think Oklahoma State, just too much firepower. All right, the next game, we've got the Louisville Cardinals at Florida State. Florida State's favored by 7.5. I guess this is my pick. I mean, Louisville looked bad against Boston College because Boston College is not that good. Florida State didn't look great against Duke. We ended up being a push on that one, Schmidt. You could have got back in there if they could have had one more point. I'm going to go with Louisville in the upset. I think Louisville wins the game straight out. I don't think Louisville's that good, but I think that, the quarterback for Louisville is going to score enough points that I don't think Florida State's going to be able to score that many. Brian?
Yeah, I mean,
Lamar Jackson.
This is a tough game to pick, but I kind of agree. I think I'll take Louisville. Just Florida State just never impresses me. They just don't impress me enough, and when Louisville is on, especially offensively, they're really on. So I'm going to take Louisville and hope that they play well.
All right, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to take Louisville too. I just don't have a very high opinion of Florida State at all. And like you said, I think the Louisville quarterback is the decision maker here. So got to go with the Cards. All
right, now, Brian, Butch Jones leads the Tennessee Volunteers to Alabama. Bama's favored by 34.
Yeah, take Alabama. That Tennessee team is just bad, really bad. Very hard to watch. Very you almost wonder what they do through the week of practice because they're just not a very good team. And I think Alabama is going to roll big in this one.
All right, Bill, do I even have to
ask? No, not really. But it's a lot of points, man. They just keep making it harder every week. But I got to.
You know what, though? I think I would pick Bama if this was 44 points.
Well, yeah. I mean, the way they've been playing, and Tennessee is
there's
huge.
More the way Tennessee's been playing than anything else.
Yeah, that too. Tennessee, Alabama is for people listening that really don't know. Everybody thinks Alabama Auburn is a big rival, which they are. But the Tennessee rivalry is as big as Auburn down here. And so it's a huge week. And it's one of those deals where it doesn't matter who's got the best team. Do what?
Is it still that big a deal?
It is. Because it is. And I know that's the thought process is, well, Tennessee's not a good team at all. They're horrible, actually. But it's kind of one of those deals where the hate is so strong that it doesn't matter how bad the other team is. The other team wants to beat them by 100. So it's always a big time wherever we're playing at. And so, but Tennessee, you're right. They are a bad team this year, and they must just take the week off and show up on Saturday and pad up because I don't know what's going on there, but I think Alabama covers that spread.
All right, I'm going to go with Bama too. I don't think this is one even to think about. The next game, the Syracuse Orangemen coming off a huge win, go to Miami to take on the Hurricanes. Bill, Miami is favored by 14.
God, man, making this tough. I was just getting ready to jump out there and say Miami because I think Syracuse will have a tough time. Man, I gotta flip my choice. I gotta go to Syracuse with the points. I think Miami's a good team. I don't think they're, like you said, fool's gold. I think they're not as good as a lot of people think they are.
All right, I'm going to go with Bill. I don't necessarily think Syracuse wins the game, but I think they can stay within 14 points. Miami's offense just doesn't impress me, especially at the quarterback position. Brian?
Yeah, I'm going to be the same. If it was less than 14, I'd probably go with Miami, but 14 is an awful lot of points. And I think Syracuse – I don't think Syracuse will win the game, but I definitely think they'll cover that.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Syracuse won the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. Nothing surprising.
There's something about the Miami team. Their schedule's been weak. And Florida State, let's face it, if Florida State doesn't lose their starting quarterback, Florida State probably would have beat them by 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And Florida State would all of a sudden be an actual good team. So, all right, the next game, we got Oklahoma. Fresh off a tough win against Texas. They're a 13-point favorite at Kansas State. I think is this my pick?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to go with Oklahoma. I just think Kansas State has a hard time scoring points. Baker Mayfield's still there. They're still playing to get into the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma and give the 13 points. Brian?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma. I agree. I want to take Kansas State and thinking Oklahoma will win, but Kansas State will cover. But I think Oklahoma will just have too much firepower.
All right, Bill.
Yeah, going with Oklahoma too. I just think Baker Mayfield is too good not to, and he'll find a way to win. So stay with the Sooners.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead. We're going to catch a commercial break from mybookie.ag. We'll be back in a minute.
We'll get back to the podcast in just about a minute here, but first, football season is here, and if you're one of those fans of the NFL, the CFL, or college football who likes to make things interesting on game day, be sure to check out the offerings at mybookie.ag, a sponsor of the Grueling Truth Network. MyBookie reminds you that where you're betting is just as important as what you're betting on. MyBookie.ag offers the full range of point spreads, lines, odds, futures, proposition bets, and parlays on NFL, CFL, and FBS games that you'd find at any proper sportsbook online or off. They've also got the very trendy and exciting in-game live betting options as well. MyBookie offers all first-time players a 100% deposit bonus, thereby doubling your initial bankroll. And MyBookie accepts players from worldwide, including the U.S. and Canada. MyBookie.ag offers 24-hour multilingual customer service and chat, plus a handy app for your mobile device. Best of all about MyBookie.ag, though, is the payout time. MyBookie promises payouts to your account within 2 business days of request. So the next time you're wagering on football, or baseball, or basketball, or soccer, or any major sport, really, check out MyBookie.ag, sponsor of the Grueling Truth. Use promo code CFBPicks or NFL picks to get a 100% match bonus on your first deposit. That's promo code CFBPICKS or NFLPICKS. Thank you, and please always play responsibly.
All right, guys, we're back with Week 8 of the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show here on the Grueling Truth Sports Network, brought to you by MyBookie.ag. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, sitting here with Bill Searcy, former Alabama offensive lineman, Brian Schmidt, who used to live in Columbus, Ohio. It was Columbus, right, Schmitty?
Yeah.
I would have announced you as, like, being a football player in high school, but I didn't know what high school you went to.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I just coached him.
Do you know what high school you went to?
Yeah, I remember.
So long ago, I have a hard time remembering sometimes.
Yeah. I just coached.
The high school I went to was down 41-0 in their high school football game at the end of the first quarter the other night and lost 69-0.
Ow.
God.
Yeah.
That's ugly.
That would suck. But on the bright side, I mean, they have won 2 games this year, which is 2 more than what they won last year. So that'll tell you how bad 2 other schools in the state of Indiana are. The next game, which I think this is a huge game now in the conference they play in, the American Athletic or whatever you call it. Central Florida, a top 25 team, favored by 7, or Navy, who's coming off a tough, close loss at Memphis. Brian, Central Florida favored by 7 over Navy.
Man, that's a tough game to pick because of Navy. I'm going to take Navy. They know how to play big in these games. They've done it before, and I think that triple option is just very hard to have to deal with. So I'll take Navy.
All right, Bill.
Yeah, I'm with Navy too because the people have a hard time defending those guys. They run it really well. So I'll go with the Navy this time.
All right. I really like Central Florida, but the option thing does bother me. Central Florida beat East Carolina 63-21 this weekend, but East Carolina's not what they used to be. But my thing is, when I look at Central Florida, I think Central Florida's a top 10 team in this country. I really do. When I look at them, they beat Maryland 38-10, the way every good team in the Big Ten beats Maryland. They beat Memphis 40-13. That's a Memphis team that just beat Navy. The only problem is there's not much to go off of outside of that. The thing that would have made this a lot easier is if their September 16th game against Georgia Tech would have been canceled because of the hurricane. I'm going to go with Central Florida, and I'm going to give the points. I think Central Florida takes care of this team the way they should. And I think before the season's over, like I said, Central Florida and South Florida, one of those 2 will be playing on New Year's Day, and one in that little thing with the little bone they toss to small schools where they don't really let them play for a Final Four, but they can play for a New Year's Day game. So I'm going with Central Florida. The next game, a team Bill Searcy said was atrocious, terrible, horrible, LSU, who somehow then beat a team Bill said was very dangerous in Auburn. LSU's a 7.5-point favorite against Ole Miss. Bill?
Shows you how much I know, right? I still say LSU's horrible.
I was saying, so.
I still say LSU's horrible. Oh, wow. I don't think either team's very good. I'll go with LSU.
All right. I'm going to go with Bill. I'm going to go with LSU. Schmitty?
Yeah, I'll go with LSU.
Well, that was easy enough. The next game, I guess I got this one. Michigan at Penn State. Penn State's favored by 11.5. Michigan has a great defense, but Penn State can play on both sides of the ball. 11.5 points is a lot to give up, but I'm going to go with the Nittany Lions here, Brian.
The Nittany Lions are gonna win this game. 11 is a lot of points, so I'm gonna go with Michigan's gonna cover it. I think Penn State will win, but I think Michigan will cover it.
All right, Bill.
I'm going to go with Penn State because I think they're going to show out in this game and embarrass Michigan. So,
and I think doesn't Ohio State play Penn State the next week, Schmidt?
Yes.
At Ohio State?
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty sure it is because last year when Penn State beat them, it was at Penn State. But all right, the next game we have one of the oldest rivalries. We have the USC Trojans at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's favored by 4, Brian, and Notre Dame's only loss was by a point to a Georgia team, and I think everybody realizes is real good now. And USC struggled this year.
Yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame in this, but I hate having to take Notre Dame, but we'll go with it.
All right, Bill.
I'm going to take Notre Dame too. I think they're a pretty good team, and I think they actually are getting better. As much as I hate to say that, but I'll take ND.
All right, I'm going to go with USC to win the game. Take the points. I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to take Sam Darnold over the kid that got hurt, if he's even playing. Brian Kelly coaches Notre Dame. I don't like him. Next game, Auburn. Auburn, a team that Bill Searcy loves, at Arkansas. I do not have a point spread at this point on this game, so you can pick it straight up.
Well, Arkansas is really bad, so I'm going to pick Auburn no matter what the point spread.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Auburn's still a good team, and I still think they're going to give Alabama all they can handle at the end of the year. Brian?
Yeah, I'll take Auburn as well.
Also, I would like to add that I still think Alabama will beat them, though. I just think they'll give them a good game. The next game, one of the worst Division I teams in college football, Kansas at TCU. TCU's favored by 37. I got to start this pick, and that's a lot of points to cover. But for some stupid reason, I'm going to go with TCU, Brian.
Yeah, I'll go with TCU.
I think they might cover that before the first quarter's over.
A lot of points to cover, but when you consider who they're playing, it doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah. Bill?
Yeah, I'm going with you guys. Same way.
All right. We got 2 games left, West Coast games. We got Arizona coming off a thumping at UCLA, favored by a point. At Cal, coming off, whooping Washington State. I think this is a tough game to pick. Arizona's favored by 1. Who's ready to start this one out? This would be Brian, right? Okay, Bill, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm going to take Cal. I don't know a whole lot about either team other than what Cal did this weekend, so I'm going to ride with them.
All right, Brian.
I'm going to take Arizona. Cal was impressive, but I think that little bit of excitement from last week and all that, and you're going to come in and play Arizona, and Cal is very hit and miss, so I'll take Arizona.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one to pick. I'm going to go with Arizona just because I think they're the better team, but it wouldn't surprise me if Cal beats them. The final game, Mike Leach's Washington State Cougars. Coming off being beat 37-3 by Cal, are a 10.5-point favorite at home against a good Colorado team, Schmitty.
Yeah, this is one they gotta, they're gonna have to get back into the swing of things. I think they will. I think I'll take Washington State, but this is a decent Colorado team that they're playing. But I think that they'll come back in this and win this.
All right, Bill.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Washington State. They let me down this weekend, but I think playing at home, and I think Mike Leach will get them back in line this coming week, so I'll stay with them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington State, too. I just think Washington State at home, they're probably going to be a little pissed off, and I think they're going to take it out on Colorado in this one. Any final thoughts, Bill?
I'm kind of blank. I don't really.
I
really
like
don't
being Schmitty.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be another exciting week of college football like last week was. And one of the things we didn't talk about the last show that I was thinking about today is anybody gets a chance, go on watch ESPN, watch just the 7 overtimes of Western Michigan and Buffalo from a couple weeks ago. That true intensity is what we miss in the NFL, and you just don't see it very often anymore where two teams are that intense trying to win a football game.
7 overtimes. So
final score was 61-58, 7 overtimes.
Wow.
And those 7 overtimes were about as intense a football as you're going to see. You don't even see that sometimes in the NFL, in playoffs. I mean, just two teams
Are you taking a shot at my Bengals again?
Not everything is a shot at your Bengals again.
It seems to be, but go ahead.
Not everything is a shot at the Bengals.
Okay.
Not everything. But it was pretty intense. I mean, that's the one thing about college football is just the intensity and the rivalry and people going out there playing to win, not for a paycheck, per se, quote unquote. And that's what makes, I think, the college football a lot better than the NFL.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will be back next week with, of course, Week 9. You like how I figured out what came after 8, Schmitty? I did that on the run, too. I didn't write it down.
Well, that's kind of typical of Bengals fan. At least they know 1 through 2.
I can't believe we're at Week 9.
I know. Hell, the CFL show, we're at Week 18. That season's almost over. And it's starting to get cold out. It was cold today. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's cold here, too.
Yeah, I don't like that cold stuff. That's I used to not mind it when I was younger, but now I actually get cold when it's cold.
Yeah, it was 90 in Texas yesterday. It's now balmy 60 today. So.
Well, don't get sick.
I'm telling you.
But, hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Remember, you can catch the NFL Pick'em show on Tuesday night. Our special guest will be actor Michael Rappaport. He's supposed to be on the pick games with Brian Schmidt because that's what I told him. I said, hey, you pick games with Brian Schmidt. He said, I'm there.
I'm in.
That's what he said. Yeah. And then he said, who's Brian Schmidt? And then I said, hey, you'll find out. The greatest picker of football games in the history of the world. Because Brian leads in the NFL Pick'em show by like 3 or 4 games. I don't know what we did today, but going into last week, I think you were like 3 up on Matt, weren't you?
Yeah, and I don't think any of us did well this week in the NFL.
No, probably not. Because the NFL was like college football this weekend, where everything was kind of every game you looked at the start of the week and thought, hell, I don't even have to think about this. Ended up going the other way. Just asked the Baltimore Ravens with that Chicago Bear game. But I know that made me and Schmitty both happy. So, yeah. All right, guys, I want to remind you, you can find us on thegrillingtruth.net on the Internet. You can find us at Grilling Truth on Twitter. You can go to iTunes and download the Grilling Truth app for all of our shows. I think that's about it, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Make sure you catch us next weekend on the NFL College Football Pick'em Show. Check out mybookie.ag, our main sponsor for the show. So for Bill Searcy, Brian Schmidt, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grilling Truth, where the legends speak.